What's shaking, humans? You might have noticed the community has been a little quieter, a little less crazy these past 2 weeks. Due to some unfortunate setbacks after dental surgery, I have taken some unexpected but necessary time off. But my talk box is fixed and I'm back, baby! I have been itching to get out here and talk about some stuff like Scott Fishbowl 11, the CNBBCL, and more. But first, let's dive into some news I missed commenting on recently. Before we do, shoot us a follow on Twitter at @the_smoke_show and myself at TNFF_Smokey. You can also also follow the presenters of this show at Fantasy PTS Live and at True North FFB, where they have both sides of the 49th parallel locked down for fantasy information that is worth more than its weight in gold. I gotta be honest with you. It's been a little weird adjusting to not having one of my back molars. My tongue feels like it's kind of spilling out the side a little bit. So if you see me kind of talking weird during this, don't be alarmed. I'm not having a stroke. It's just the new one less tooth Smokey. But I just want to give a special shout out to the newest addition to the Fantasy Points Media Group, Friends of the Smoke Show, the Dynasty Vipers. I am so stoked to have these guys on board. I recently made an appearance on a special episode of theirs that was raising awareness for the visually impaired and blind within our fantasy football community. I highly recommend checking that out. I think that takes care of the technical shit. Let's do this.
Smoke Show!
Le'Veon Bell says that he will never again play for Andy Reid. Well, no shit. I don't think that there was ever any danger of that. I mean, I will never play for Bill Belichick while we're stating the obvious. Lev is a 29-year-old running back who couldn't beat out the rookie first rounder who people seem to mistakenly think is a giant bust. You were healthy scratched in the biggest games of your recent career, and you think burning this bridge is going to be beneficial? I mean, you do you, man. As Morgan Freeman eloquently stated on The Dark Knight. Good luck. But on to the recent big news that actually fucking matters. We have future first ballot Hall of Famer Julio Jones becoming a cap casualty and wanting to move on to greener pastures, which ended up being the Tennessee Titans, the now most appropriately named football team in the NFL. I mean, can you imagine lining up across from AJ Brown, Julio Jones, and Derrick Henry? I would sooner play chicken with a crash of rhinoceroses. Yes, that is what a herd of those enormous beasts are called, than to face those three guys. I mean, obviously, it is wheels up for Tannehill, and I also think you get a bit of a bump to AJ, Julio, and Henry. I mean, like, who are you going to stop on that, man? That's a dangerous offense. Also, back over at Atlanta, Ridley is going to benefit from this. I mean, you saw the splits last year with and without Julio. He is going to feast. Easy wide receiver one this year. And my guy, Pitts, will likely see a small increase in expected volume. But this kind of hurts those late round shares of Matt Ryan that I've been gobbling up drafts recently. Hayden Hurst is going to be moving up my board a bit as well, especially in leagues where you have to start two tight ends. Yeah, that about covers that. I mean, it's already been said. I'm just 2 weeks late to getting to all this stuff. In unrelated news, it's best shape of their live season, and between that and the coach speak, people are losing their minds, and I can't help but sit back and laugh. Todd Gurley was never a threat to DeAndre Swift. He didn't even leave with a bloody contract with them. Tim Tebow likely does not make the 53-man roster in Jacksonville. Take it from me, this is just smoke, not fire. But you know what is fire? Scott Fishbowl 11! After being on the outside looking in last year, I was among the fortunate 1,980 people invited into this year's tournament. The theme this year could not be more suited to my first time, as it is a lifelong passion of music. I landed in the Alice in Chains division, which I am thrilled about. Side note, I just saw that Michael Fabiano was put into that division today too. So, yeah, bring it. But I'm super thrilled to be in the Alice in Chains division. I've been a less than amateur musician for decades, and one of my biggest influences has been Alice in Chains. From the classic era to the common era, I love them both equally and impressively. So I hope to decimate that division in their honor. The strategy is going to be interesting in this competition, and let's just say I am taking serious looks at some kickers, which is something I didn't think that I would be saying in this year of 2021. But here we are. I'm not going to get into the details today, but I will let you know that there will be a special episode of the Jet Sweep Show coming up, all on Scott Fishbowl 11 strategy. It has been a long, lonely absence since our last Valentine's Day special episode. And I can't wait to chop it up again with my co-host, Will Harris, whom you can find on Twitter at It's Harris Time, and quite possibly have our first guest appearances ever. It's always a blast being able to cut loose and wild out as only I can on the right side of the screen. I guess this one on this. So be on the lookout for that in the next couple weeks, all of you Scott Fishbowl participants. You can find our pod on Twitter at Jet Sweep Show. While we're on the subject of the best charity tournaments around, it is time we bring up the Canadian National Best Ball Champions League, or the CNBBCL for almost short. This is going to be my first real best ball league that I've participated in. Full disclosure, I am in a sleeper dynasty best ball startup draft currently, but it's mostly just the True North guys, and we're just kind of fucking around to see how it handles on the app. But I've been itching to get into best ball, so I'm so thrilled that this is going to be my first one here. The goal of this league is to raise over $2,000 for the winner's charity. Myself, I will be playing for my local food bank and shelter, the Couch and Warm Lamp House, which I've played for in several charity tournaments. Food banks, they hit a personal note for me. So it is my honor to play for the chance to make a real difference for them. In the first few days of invites being sent out, there are already over $700 towards their goal. So that's fucking fantastic, man. Now, the theme for this charity tournament is the original 6 NHL teams. Now, as my beloved Philadelphia Flyers were part of the first wave of expansion teams in 1967, I am stuck choosing between the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Montreal Canadiens, Chicago Blackhawks, Detroit Red Wings, New York Rangers, and Boston Bruins. The Bruins and the Rangers can go fuck themselves. Chicago can watch. Neither Canadian team really speaks to me, so that kind of leaves me with the Detroit Red Wings. Now, this franchise actually started its life merely a short drive from where I live on Vancouver Island, in beautiful British Columbia on the west coast of Canada. After winning the Stanley Cup in 1925, the Victoria Cougars were essentially bought by the Townsend Saburn Group of Detroit and finally began playing there in 1927. It wasn't until 1932 that they played under the name Detroit Red Wings, and now you know more franchise history than some of their actual fans. I am up against some heavyweights in the Canadian fantasy football industry, and I can't wait to make them leave with their beaver tails between their legs, crying into their jugs of maple syrup. It sounds like fun, doesn't it? Would you like to join in on the fun? I had a feeling you did. So here's how you do it. Somewhere in this episode, I quoted Morgan Freeman from a particular movie. What movie was that? Hit up smokeshowpodcast@gmail.com with your answer for the chance to be entered into Canada's official charity best ball tournament. All contestants with a correct answer will be entered into a 100-yard rush, and the winner determined through that race. Now, this contest will be open until this Sunday, June 20th at midnight Pacific Standard Time. Best of luck to all of you. And now it is time for some shameless promotion. You want the discount code for the hottest site in fantasy football? I've got it. Go to fantasypoints.com and use the promo code 21Smokey10, which sounds like it was communicated through a CB radio. But anyways, go to fantasypoints.com, use the promo code 21Smokey10 for access to a pretty ridiculous plethora of tools, info, optimizers, importers, generators, waffle makers from the all-star cast in the fantasy football industry. Again, that promo code is 21Smokey10. That is 21SMOKEY10. Waffle Maker is not part of this promotional deal or any deal on fantasypoints.com at all. Now, as much as I loved catching up on everything I've missed talking about these last few weeks, these Up in Smoke episodes of The Smoke Show are supposed to be about me answering questions from the people. So let's do that. This is a non-football one that I've been asked a handful of times recently, and I haven't really dove into it much in this space, so I figured I would tackle the origins of the name Smokey Hell Nelson. As I mentioned earlier in this episode, I've been a less than amateur musician for many, many years, and around 12-ish years ago, I was doing a mini little bluesy solo side project. The first song I wrote for it was called Take Another Roll of the Dice, and it was just an acoustic guitar with some slide work, and I went to lay down the guitar for the track, and I hear a knock on my door. I open it up, and it's my buddy Gary, who is the actual embodiment of the most interesting man in the world. Now, at the time, Gary Barker was a 53-year-old man who was a former boxer and author, and current bar trivia guru, man about town, and parking lot MMA trainer. I love this guy. Like, I fucking love Gary Barker. So he comes on in, and he's got his harmonica with him. Like I said, super interesting guy. So I tell him, you should lay down some harmonica on this track that I'm about to record. He gets a little bit nervous, so we go and smoke a big-ass party bowl, and I lay the guitar down one take. Take two was his. So he ends up just ripping it so well that I scratched the entire second verse of vocals. And I was like, you know what? It's yours, man. It's just solo over the damn thing. Anyways, I go to lay down the vocals on the third take, and I channel this gravelly, almost vocal love child of Mark Lanigan and Lemmy, which I thought kind of worked well with the music. And Gary proclaims on the spot that my voice sounded like Smokey Hell. And that was it. I threw my last name on it, and I had a stage name for my blues project. The project remains half finished to this day, but the name stuck, and I have remained Josh Smokey Hell Nelson to this day. So, to recap a few things. 1. The contest to win entry into the Canadian National Best Ball Champions League is open until Sunday, June 20th at midnight Pacific Standard Time. So email your answers to smokeshowpodcast@gmail.com. 2. Be on the lookout for a special Scott Fishbowl 11 themed episode of The Jet Sweep Show, dropping within the next 2 weeks. 3. I am setting up micro interviews for the next cycle of Smoke Show episodes. So if you would like to make an appearance on here, hit me up on Twitter at @the_smoke_show or at TNFF_Smokey, and we'll see what we can make work. If you haven't yet, please go check out our Joe Dolan episodes for some actionable information from both the micro interviews and our feature interview with FantasyPoints.com's own Joe Dolan. 4. Speaking of FantasyPoints.com, sign up with my promo code 21Smokey10 for 10% off what is already the best deal on actionable fantasy football information and just real football information that it can help you win your leagues. Again, the promo code is 21Smokey10. It helps me out a ton, so help me help you. And FantasyPoints.com will help show you the money! This podcast has been presented by the Fantasy Points Media Group as well as True North Fantasy Football. You can find my work and much better content than mine at www.truenorthffb.com, where the A-Team reigns supreme. Yeah! This is The Smoke Show. My name is Josh Smokey Hell Nelson, and I'm out! Shit. Headphones I can't spin. I need to end the show. Show's over. Bye.